Have you ever been told that you are not black enough?
Hell yes. It was fucking annoying. All throughout middle school. And mind you, I was already in the gifted class. Those are the losers. I was the loser of the losers. Even within my friend group of losers, I was the loser. And I don't know. It was always weird. I remember getting asked on the bus, why do you listen to white people music? Girl, who cares? I like this, but I also like what we consider black people music, And then she had to admit that, she also likes Taylor Swift. Why are we doing this? Mm-hmm. It's just because I'm not scared to listen to it out in public that I get questioned about it, right? Mm-hmm. And because I went to an all-black school on the south side of Chicago, so there's layers to that. Mm-hmm. But it was she also listened to things we wouldn't consider, black music. But because I, actually listened to it in public, somehow, I was questioned about it. And it's we all like a good top 40 hit, baby. I don't know what the problem is. I'll never forget, my sophomore year. This is my first year on campus because, COVID. And I'm just wearing, a pair of shorts, right? And I normally wear skirts, most of the time. And somebody, whispers about me, you see how short her shorts are? That's how her skirts be. Who gives a fuck? I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. If I want to have my ass out on college campus, who's gonna come? Because the thing is, they do it too. Mm-hmm. The other girls do it too. The other girls show more skin than I ever will. But it's you can only be a hoochie if you're the right kind of hoochie, and I'm not the right kind of hoochie.
If you had to quantify and articulate what the Dillard standard aesthetic is, I know that's very subjective and obviously would vary from person to person, but as you perceive it, how would you describe that?
I don't know if this will make sense to you because you're Southern, but it's very Southern. I don't know really to describe it. They're very feminine in a traditionally feminine way. They were really put together. I would say if you do show more skin, it's mostly just torso, midriff, and some shorts. Not a lot of skirts. I don't see lots of people wearing skirts. It's mostly nice jeans, nice shorts, and a crop top or something like that. And I would say that's what I noticed to be the standard acceptable outfit to wear. You have to be an extroverted person on this campus, which I am not. It's not that I'm shy or anything. I would never say I'm shy, but I would say that I'm definitely more introverted than the majority of people on campus who are really seen, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Everybody wants to be seen. I think that would be the best way to describe it. Nobody just wants to, they want you to notice them, which I think is interesting.
How would you describe your aesthetic, and how does this coincide with your race?
I feel like my aesthetic currently, or an aesthetic I've constantly kind of leaned towards, is kind of a more preppy style. But then also occasionally I have my e-girl 2020 cosplay saturated cringe style that I'm drawn towards, which are both styles that I feel you don't see a lot of black people in the forefront of those communities. When you think of people who are kind of faces or ambassadors of those subcultures, you rarely see black people at the forefront of that, let alone dark skin, plus size fat black people. I remember being in my dorm, putting up my posters, my K-pop stuff, things that make me happy, and just immediately getting shit on. You automatically feel I can't even be myself in my dorm, let alone out in the open. And also I was filming cosplay videos too, so it's the fear of my roommate coming in and being why do you have a drawer full of wigs? You can't be openly passionate like that. And I'm a nerd. Nerds are inherently very passionate because we have found community and value and strength and guidance through these forms of media in a society of you're supposed to be cool, you're supposed to be chill. That's not look desired trait. A unique problem within our campus of like, I know for a fact I've walked down the hallway and had people fucking stare at me in disgust for not being in line. And that's not to say like, oh, adhering to trends or things are like inherently bad. I'm like, no, like if you like the mainstream thing, that's fine, you know, you're allowed to. These things are synonymous with our culture, you know, you're allowed to indulge in those things. But when you step out of that line, you're almost othered. You're not black enough for the black people, but you're too black for the like white nerd crowd. It's something that I struggled with a lot freshman year because I felt like I was trying to be myself, and anytime I was myself, I was promptly reminded not to be.
Movies has been a big part of my life for as long as I can remember. My dad, he used to take us to the movies literally all the time when I was a kid. I really used to want to be an actress when I was a kid, but I just never got to take acting classes, so I kind of always knew that I wanted to be in the industry.
Were you ever ridiculed for your interest?
I definitely think more so once I got to Dillard, I was, just because, you know, this is a nursing school, pretty much. So this is a very, like, STEM-based school. And even just, like, outside of Dillard, people will kind of, like, I'll be like, oh, yeah, I'm a film major, I go to Dillard, whatever. And they kind of, like, sometimes they don't really know what to say to that, or they're kind of, like, taken aback, like, oh, that's kind of, like, weird a little bit, especially being black, you know, because there's that idea that we need to be successful because, you know, we've been torn down so much in the past and even now. So I definitely think that has had a little bit of an effect on me. I've learned to brush it off because I've been dealing with it for a few years now. So yeah, definitely growing up, I would get that, especially like now because I'm in New Orleans and I'm from Indiana, so the way I talk, the way I speak, my mannerisms are definitely a lot different than it is from people who are from New Orleans or Louisiana or just the South in general. But yeah, definitely here at Dillard, like I get that a lot, like, oh, you're kind of white or, you know, whatever that means. I just talk I talk very proper, that's just how I talk. And yeah, I've definitely gotten that a lot at Dillard, especially because there's just kind of this notion that you have to fit a certain kind of aesthetic or mold here at Dillard. So if you don't really fit that, then you're either not black enough or you're just weird. You have to have money, you have to dress a certain way. If you don't have the newest shoes, if you don't follow the newest trends, then you're considered weird. You always have to have your hair done, your nails done. You just always, like, HBCUs are a fashion show. So I try not to focus on fitting the Dillard molds, which some people appreciate and some people don't.
Was there a particular experience here that made you realize that you were outside of the standard?
Yes, so many. Oh God, where do I even start? I was just having a hard time with my family, and I was asking for support from the school. They just weren't really kind of understanding the situation, I guess. And that kind of was like, okay, like if I don't fit this mold of like I have like the perfect family or like the perfect like traditional family, or I don't do this or I don't do that, is when people at Dillard will just kind of brush it off and be like, okay, you have issues, like go away. So, but I'm still here and I'm going to graduate. So there we go.
Something I got called very often in high school and middle school was Oreo. Now, this was in Texas, of course, at my predominantly white middle school and high school. But it meant that you were black on the outside, but white on the inside. And I always resented it because I wanted to be authentically black so bad. Being black isn't a monolith. It isn't something that you can easily define. It's not meant to be. It's meant to be these facets that you can ebb and flow in between. It's supposed to influence and inform your self-expression. It's supposed to be a source of pride, of shared history, of shared struggles, but of shared joy. And I love being black, and I always have. And I will say I kind of put all my hope in going into an HBCU, that I would be absolved of all of this guilt, of all of these conflicting feelings, that it would be a safe haven, that it would be a utopia, a paradise. And it's not. But that doesn't express the totality of my experience. It's not all been negative, and though I've experienced this idea of being not Black enough even here at an HBCU, in the same breath, I've also found my people here, my tribe, my friends, my mentors, my confidants, through being myself. To a certain extent, it is what you make of it. And though having to carve out that experience for yourself is harder initially, you'll be happy that you did in the long run, because you'll find your tribe of people who are authentically themselves, and you can connect on that level, and that will be worth it every single time. Even the Dillard standard as it was discussed here, that's not wrong. There's nothing wrong with that. And the people that present as such are being authentic in their own way, right? Authenticity and living in your truth and being in constant pursuit of that truth. I think that goes hand in hand with Blackness, resilience, perseverance, love in the face of adversity. That's how I'm feeling. Yeah, just sifting through all these conflicting ideas that I have of myself and being like, it's okay to just be you. Because as I exist now, I'm Black enough. I'm enough. I am enough. Okay, I couldn't resist. Yeah. Okay. Bye.